Final Fantasy XIV does a pretty good job at teaching you mechanics that you'll encounter often in the game, but it also kind of doesn't. You see, there are actually quite a few things that hardcore raiders utilize daily that the game doesn't teach you at all. So today, I'm here to tell you what some of those things are and why they matter. For those of you new here, my name is Samir. I've been raiding since 6.4 and hardcore raiding since 7.0 onwards. I also raid live on Twitch Monday through Friday at 6 PM Central Standard Time, where I talk through these mechanics while I prog. So needless to say, I've learned quite a lot over these few years playing the game, and hopefully you'll learn something as well. The first core mechanic I want to talk about is Propagation, and we'll look at it from a healer's perspective. Propagation is the way the game delivers healing and damage. The closer you are to the source, the sooner you receive it. In this clip, I'm on Scholar, and about to prepare to deploy shield. If we take a look at the party's positioning, we can predict who will get the shield last. Based on where everyone is standing, it should be the Reaper and the Dancer. And when we play the clip, that's exactly what happens. The damage portion can be understood the same way. The damage source is directly in the center of the arena in this clip, which means the last person who should be damaged in this instance would be the Paladin. And when we roll the clip, they are. This is important because you might run into situations where you throw out an AoE heal, and half the party gets the heal before the raid wide, while the other half receives it after, which in some cases means they don't survive. The solution is to heal as early as you can so that everyone receives the heal they need to live the raid wide. Snapshotting is how the game determines if you're going to be hit by a mechanic or not. This is where things get a little complicated because different attacks have different rules for their snapshots. The first type of snapshot I'll go over is the Castbar Snapshot. This means as long as you are out of the attack's range when the castbar ends, you will not be hit. A good example of this is the Axe Kick cast in Futures Rewritten Phase 2. When Shiva casts Axe Kick, she does a giant circle AoE around her. During this cast, all members of the party must move to dodge it, but depending on the pattern, some players will need to dodge in immediately in order to dodge the Shiva ice circles directly under them. I'll play the clip now so you can see how this unfolds. You'll see I'm hit by the animation of the Axe Kick, but I don't die or take a damage down. This is because the game checks to see if I was in the attack at the end of the cast bar. After that, it's no longer checking, and it is safe to walk in. As a result, I'm at no risk of getting hit by the other AoE because I moved sooner than the animations would suggest. Next, we have visual snapshots, or attacks that check positioning as soon as they visually go off. A good example of this is during M11S's Meteor Rain mechanic. The marker over our head is telling us that we are selected to place down a meteor, and when it disappears, the meteor will fall on us. As you can see from the footage, the marker disappears and the mechanic is locked. We received a physical vuln, and we can see a faint shadow approaching us before the meteor finally touches the ground. In other words, our mechanic is done, and we can start looking at where we need to go next. Next, we have Aggro Snapshots, which is mainly found in tankbusters. For example, the busters in Phase 5 of the Omega Protocol snapshot your aggro as soon as the castbar starts, meaning that if we're planning to share this buster, the off-tank can provoke as soon as they see the castbar, and the second hit will go to them. Knowing which snapshot type you're dealing with lets you time your movement and tank swaps without random deaths. Imagine you have a little dot right under your character. This is your character's hitbox, meaning your model doesn't have to fully be outside of an attack to dodge it. Only that dot does. If we take a look at my character, we can clearly see that visually I'm in the wall, but my pixel isn't. And as I edge closer and closer, I don't actually die until that pixel touches the wall. This matters for tight dodge checks at the edge of arenas or when you're stacking as tightly as possible when dodging something. Damage types in Final Fantasy XIV can be identified by the icon that appears next to the fly text of the attack that hits you. If the attack is physical, it shows a sword icon. If the attack is magical, it shows a rod icon. This is useful because abilities like Feint and Addle have increased damage reduction towards their preferred damage type. Feint is a 10% mitigation towards physical damage, and a 5% towards magical. Addle is a 10% mitigation towards magical and a 5% towards physical. This is important for maximizing your mitigation under tight checks. Finally, we have server ticks and actor ticks. Server ticks are how the game decides when to apply damage or healing effects. Actor ticks are used to handle natural healing as well as MP generation. Understanding how effects are applied based on server ticks can help you identify what is immediately dangerous. For example, in M10S, we have lots and lots of fire puddles to deal with. But you'll notice that each time we place them down, our player doesn't immediately get a damage over time effect, not even once. This is because of server ticks. Essentially, the game is going to check if you are in the fire puddle on a server tick, and the duration of this tick is about 3 seconds. So at face value, that means that you would have up to 3 seconds to move your character out of the fire puddle before you get the bleed. Now, it is important to note that because of the game's netcode and latency, when you move on your screen, it might not necessarily be what the server sees. So it's still generally good practice to move out of the puddle as soon as you can. When we shift over to healing and mitigation effects, we can see that they behave in a similar way, but there are some differences. If our character is in the zone to begin with, the effect is applied immediately. If our character is not in the zone to begin with, the effect will not be applied immediately. Instead, it can take up to 1 server tick of being in the zone to apply the effect. Dying to this is extremely rare, as the player base is generally good at placing these abilities so that the party doesn't have to think about it. None of these things were really taught to me directly by the game, but rather learned through countless hours of raiding and discussion with other high-end raiders. A lot of what I talked about today is also in Oryza Mercury's Raiding Fundamentals guide over on Ack Morning, and this video is heavily inspired by that. It's a really great read and covers a bit more than what's in this video, so make sure to go check it out. The link is in the description. If you have any questions about any of the mechanics we talked about in this video, or if there's a mechanic you'd like for me to talk about, make sure to leave a comment down below. I'd love the chance to discuss more about them, and I'll get to them as soon as I can. I also stream live on Twitch Monday through Friday at 6 PM CST, where I raid daily and discuss different raid topics as well. I also started a community on Discord, where the main focus is improvement and optimization in Final Fantasy XIV. So make sure to join with the link in the description below. Make sure to leave a like if you've learned something new today, and subscribe so you don't miss the next time I upload a video just like this one. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.